Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. My name is Sharan Setty, and I'm your host on this long format interview. Joining me today for a conversation is somebody really special. I've been looking forward to his interviews. I've been watching some of his interviews where he's spoken about several issues ranging from international security to terrorism and radicalism and how it emanates in the Western societies. Joining me today is Phil Gurski. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. I hope everything's good in Canada.
Well, winter has just started, but I like winter, I like snow, I like cold, so I'm not complaining. But thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It's a real honor to be here with you.
It's a real honor for us to have you here. Just a little introduction about Phil. Phil is currently the president and CEO of Borealis Threat and Risk Consulting and has previously served as a senior strategic analyst in the Canadian Security Intelligence Services. So obviously, you have seen uh, in detail as to what radicalism can do, how ideologies influence people and interact with each other. But let me start with the basics, right? We've all seen Bond movies and we all read spy novels. And each of our countries have their own intelligence agencies. The Americans have the CIA, we have the research and analysis wing. But for our audience who may not be as aware, can you tell us what the Canadian intelligence is like?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, you can see I'm not Daniel Craig. I'm not nearly as handsome as he is, and I don't carry a gun and I don't kill people. But Canadian intelligence is a fairly small community. So the organizations that I worked for, so the first one was actually called Communications Security Establishment, which is signals intelligence, or SIGINT. Right. And I spent 17 and a half years there from the early 80s up until, well, just prior to 9/11, when I moved to the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, or CSIS. And that's where I became focusing on Islamist terrorism. Again, I started 9 months before 9/11. We were looking at all kinds of Canadians who had traveled to join Al-Qaeda. There are Canadians that fought in Bosnia, Canadians that fought with bin Laden, actually in Afghanistan. And then we started to see plots at home in the 2000s and the 2010s. The way that it works here in Canada, Sharan, intelligence is not evidence. And what that means is that the information that CSIS collects cannot be used in a Canadian court because it's not collected to the standard which the court requires.
Right.
But we can still share it with our law enforcement partners, most of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP, whom I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard of. It's a delicate dance, though, because you don't want the intelligence to taint the evidentiary stream, because it can get you in trouble down the road when the judge rejects the information because it wasn't collected to the standard necessary. CSIS used to be part of the RCMP until 1984. It was called the Security Service back then. And as the consequence of a royal commission, and we in Canada have royal commissions for all kinds of things, most of which don't require royal commissions, the decision was made to create a purely civilian security intelligence service. So when the transition happened, a lot of RCMP officers resigned their police commissions, became civilians, and joined this new organization, which has been around now. It's going to celebrate its 38th birthday in July of 2022. About 3,000, 3,500 strong right across Canada. It is a domestic security intelligence service, but that does not mean it does not operate internationally, because Canadians operate internationally. And we do have agreements with any variety of intelligence services, including Indian services, where we can exchange information that we collect to help keep each other safe.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.